Welcome to Millennium Daily Newsroom. This is Ifat Fatima with top stories. Mother of all bombs killed 36 militants in Afghanistan. Trump says NATO no longer obsolete. China not a currency manipulator. Donald Trump. First Muslim female US judge found dead in Hudson River. Germany probes Islamists after unbowed dormant play match. And Bangladesh is ready to face Tri-Nation Series. Those were the headlines, now the detail. As many as 36 suspected Islamic State militants were killed in Afghanistan when the United States dropped the mother of all bombs, one of the largest non-nuclear devices ever unleashed in combat, the Afghan Defense Ministry said lately. The strike came as US President Donald Trump dispatches his first high-level delegation to Kabul amid uncertainty about his plans for the nearly 9,000 American troops stationed in Afghanistan. The deaths have not been independently verified, but ministry spokesman Daulat Waziri said no civilians were harmed in the massive blast that targeted a network of caves and tunnels. US President Donald Trump has said NATO is no longer obsolete, reversing a stance that had alarmed allies. Hosting NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg at the White House, Mr. Trump said the threat of terrorism had underlined the alliance's importance. He called on NATO to do more to help Iraqi and Afghan partners. Mr. Trump has repeatedly questioned NATO's purpose, while complaining that the US plays an unfair share of membership. Donald Trump has said his administration will not label China a currency manipulator, rowing back on a campaign promise. The US president also left open the possibility of renominating Janet Yellen as the head of the Federal Reserve, despite having criticized her. He made the comments days after meeting China's President Xi Jinping. China has been accused of suppressing the yuan to make its exports more competitive with US goods. Before the US election, Mr. Trump linked this to raping the US and promised to label China a currency manipulator on his first day in office. A groundbreaking black jurist who became the first Muslim woman to serve as a US judge was found dead in New York's Hudson River, police said. Sheila Abdus Salam, a 65-year-old associate judge of New York's highest court, was found floating off Manhattan's west side at about 1:45 p.m., a police spokesman said. Police pulled Abdus Salam's fully clothed body from the water and she was pronounced dead at the scene. Her family identified her and an autopsy would determine the cause of death, the spokesman said. Abdus Salam, a native of Washington, D.C., became the first African-American woman appointed to the Court of Appeals when Democratic Governor Mario Cuomo named her to the state's High Court in 2013. Lawyers for the passenger dragged from a United Airlines plane in Chicago filed an emergency request with an Illinois state court to require the carrier to preserve video recordings and other evidence related to the incident. Citing the risk of serious prejudice to their client, Dr. David Dow, the lawyers want United and the city of Chicago, which runs O'Hare International Airport, to preserve surveillance videos, cockpit video recordings, passenger and crew lists, and other materials related to United Flight 3411. Chicago's aviation department said that 2 more officers had been placed on leave in connection with the April 9 incident, during which airport security officers dragged Dow from his seat aboard a United jet headed for Louisville, Kentucky. German investigators focused their probe into 3 explosions that rocked the Borussia Dortmund football team bus on a sole Islamist suspect in custody, after the side defiantly returned to the pitch. The roadside blast left Dortmund's Spanish international Marc Bartra and a policeman injured, with the bombs containing metal pieces detonating minutes after the team bus set off to a planned Champions League game against Monaco. As fans of the two sides expressed solidarity in a packed stadium, the quarter-final first leg match was held in the Western German city 24 hours later, with Monaco claiming a 3-2 win. The European Court of Human Rights has ruled that Russia failed to take measures to prevent the school siege in the city of Beslan in 2004, in which more than 330 people died. The court has also criticized Moscow for its investigation of the case. In the siege, Chechen separatists took more than 1,000 hostages, the vast majority of them children. It ended when Russian security forces stormed the building. Survivors say the troops used excessive force. No Russian official has been held responsible for the high number of deaths, which included 186 children. A conference on health and environment was held in United Nations headquarters, New York 2017, organized by World Information Transfer, co-sponsored by the government of Ukraine and UN DESA Division for Sustainable Development, supported by the NGO Committee on Sustainable Development and World Association of NGO. The program started with a welcome and opening remarks by Dr. Christian K. Durbach, conference chair and founder, World Information Transfer Incorporation. Chief guest of the program, H.E. Mr. Volodymyr Yatchenko, permanent representative of Ukraine to the UN. Mohammad Madab, from head of the South Asian Community Care Organization, and many organization president and CEO, including Mr. Zhuang Zhu, Director Division of Sustainable Development, UN DESA. Speaker speaks about ecological problems of the Black Sea Basin and proposed remediation. Professor Alexander, Professor of Environmental Science, Berdyansk University, Berdyansk, Ukraine, Climate Change, Oceans and Human Health, Dr. Marjo Veres, Senior Fellow at the United Nations University Institute of Advanced Studies. Crowdsourcing platform, its benefits for observations of our changing oceans, Dr. Jane E. Disney, founder and director of CEHL, Environmental Health Laboratory at MDI Biological Lab, present at the conference, Dr. Christian K. Durbach, conference chair and founder, World Information Transfer Incorporation. Viewers, now going for a short break. We will be back with the headlines here. Nation celebrates Pehla Boishakh. Mufti Hanan, two accomplishes buried. France encourages Bangladesh to document genocide for UN recognition. ADB predicts 6.9% GDP growth for 2016-17 fiscal year. Airbnb account hijackers burgle homes.
ফ্রেন্ডস ডেভেলপমেন্ট,
একটি স্বপ্নের ঠিকানা, একটি সুন্দর আবাসস্থল। ফ্রেন্ডস ডেভেলপমেন্ট আপনার স্বপ্নের বাস্তব রূপ দেয়।
নতুন ডুপ্লেক্স, অ্যাপার্টমেন্ট, কমার্শিয়াল বিল্ডিং নির্মাণের জন্য নির্ভরযোগ্য একটি প্রতিষ্ঠান।
ফ্রেন্ডস ডেভেলপমেন্ট,
অত্যাধুনিক ডিজাইন, সর্বশেষ প্রযুক্তির সমন্বয়ে আমাদের কর্মতৎপরতা কনক্রিট, সিমেন্ট আর ইস্পাতের মজবুত বন্ধনে
গড়ে উঠুক আপনার বাড়ি। রোদ বৃষ্টি সহ সকল বৈরিতার বিরুদ্ধে করি সঠিক ট্রিটমেন্ট।
আপনার শহরের প্রাইম লোকেশনে রয়েছে আমাদের অ্যাপার্টমেন্ট।
আপনার কষ্টার্জিত টাকা এবং আমাদের নির্ভেজাল শ্রমে নির্মিত হোক আপনার স্বপ্নের বাড়িটি। আপনার জীবন হোক সুন্দর এবং আনন্দময়।
আমাদের ঠিকানা ফ্রেন্ডস ডেভেলপমেন্ট, 211 ইস্ট 43 স্ট্রিট, সুইট বি, 507, নিউ ইয়র্ক, NY 10017, ফোন 718-893020।
ইমেইল friendsdevelopment@optimum.net। নিশা ট্রেডিং একটি আন্তর্জাতিক মানের গার্মেন্টস প্রোডাক্ট আমদানি ও রপ্তানিকারক প্রতিষ্ঠান। ইউরোপ, এশিয়া ও আমেরিকা সহ বিশ্বের নানা স্থানে বাইং, মার্চেন্টাইজিং এবং ম্যানুফ্যাকচারিং করে থাকে। সর্বাধুনিক প্রযুক্তিতে তৈরি বিভিন্ন ডিজাইনের পোশাক বাজারজাতকরণ এবং বিপণন এই প্রতিষ্ঠানের লক্ষ্য। প্রতিষ্ঠানের বৈশিষ্ট্য: উন্নতমান নিশ্চিতকরণ, টেকসই পণ্যের নিশ্চয়তা, নির্ধারিত সময়ে পণ্য সরবরাহ, লেনদেনের স্বচ্ছতা ও বিশ্বস্ততা। যোগাযোগের ঠিকানা: USA কর্পোরেট অফিস, 1747 থার্ড স্ট্রিট, সুইট 215, জ্যাকসন হাইট, নিউ ইয়র্ক, NY 11372। বাংলাদেশ কর্পোরেট অফিস, বাড়ি নং 145, সপ্তম তলা, রোড নম্বর 12, ব্লক জি, দক্ষিণ বনশ্রী, খিলগাঁও, ঢাকা 1219।
Viewers, now Millennium News on Bangladesh topic. More than 4 decades after Boishakh celebrations became a weapon of the Bengalis' political war against Pakistani state communalism and since Bangladesh emerged as a secular state, the Bangla New Year has annually returned to record similar national achievements in different times but with a similar context. Octogenarian artist cultural activist Sanjida Khatun has said the war will continue as the call in this year's Pahela Boishakh is for raising a powerful voice against communalism with the Awami League, the party that led Bangladesh in the liberation war with the spirit of secularism is in power. Sanjida Khatun's organization Chayanot has organized one of the main events at Ramna Batumul at dawn on Friday, 2 days after the hanging of militant leader Mufti Hanan on charges of killing 3 people in a grenade attack in Sylhet in 2004. Hanan was also sentenced to death for the murder of 10 people in the 2001 bombing at Chayanot's Pahela Boishakh program. Dhaka University's Faculty of Fine Arts has organized the Mangal Shobhajatra, the main procession celebrating the Bangla New Year, with a renewed call for a rejection of communalism across the country. UNESCO's recognition of the Pahela Boishakh procession last year as one of the intangible cultural heritages of humanity will add a new dimension to the celebration this year. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina inaugurated the grand musical dancing fountain and amphitheatre at Hatirjhil, a popular recreational spot of Dhaka, describing the twin establishments as Bangla New Year gifts to the city dwellers and the countrymen. The amphitheatre and the largest musical dancing fountain in South Asia with capacity of 2,000 audience have been constructed on the water of Hatirjhil Lake to give a new facelift to the Hatirjhil project. Bangladesh Army Special Works Organization implemented the project with the patronization of Housing and Public Works Ministry, Rajdhani Unnayan Kortripokho and Dhaka Wasa. Mufti Hanan and 2 of his accomplices have been buried in their respective ancestral homes following their executions. The 3 had been given death sentences for the 2004 Sylhet grenade attack that killed 3 and injured at least 40. The bodies of the 3 were taken to their family plots in Maulavi Bazar, Chandpur and Gopalganj immediately after their sentences were carried out at 10 p.m. on Wednesday. The body of Harkatul Jihadi al-Islami Chief Abdul Hannan, aka Mufti Hannan, has been buried at his family's graveyard in Gopalganj after his execution at Dhaka's Kashimpur jail. Shariful Shahidul Alam Bipul, an accomplice of Mannan, has been buried at his family's plot in Chandpur Sadar Upazila's South Moishadi village. The body of Harkatul Jihad member Delwar Hossain Ripon has been buried near his ancestral home in Maulavi Bazar. British State Minister for International Development Lord Michael Bates has lauded Bangladesh's socio-economic development, calling it one of the great development success stories in Asia. It and shows us how well it can help transform a country, the Minister of the DFID said in a statement on Thursday, concluding this 3-day visit to Dhaka. Bates visited 2 government-run primary schools and a BRAC-run pre-primary school in Dhaka and Savur, the British High Commission said. He also visited a teacher resource center where he met head teachers undertaking leadership training and met Finance Minister A.M. Mohit and other senior officials at the Ministry of Primary and Mass Education. Replying to a question, French Ambassador Mrs. Sophie Aubert said it is very important to have documentation and then place it in the relevant human system for recognition. The ambassador was delivering a lecture on her country's foreign policy at the Bangladesh Institute of International and Strategic Studies, a government think tank in Dhaka. For the first time this year, Bangladesh nationally observed March 25 as Genocide Day, commemorating those killed by the Pakistani occupation forces on that night in 1971. Bangladesh is also lobbying with the United Nations for the global recognition of the day. Viewers, now Millennium Business News. Starbucks has reported a sharp fall in profits at its UK business, which it has blamed on a slowing economy and the effect of the Brexit vote on consumer confidence. The coffee chain said its pre-tax profit in the UK fell 61% to £13.4 million in the year to October. Starbucks' corporate tax bill also fell from £8.4 million to £6.7 million. The US firm has faced heavy criticism for the amount of tax it pays in the UK. Starbucks in the UK has experienced significant economic and geopolitical headwinds this year, which affected sales, including slowing economic growth. The impact of Brexit and ongoing security concerns contributing to weakening consumer confidence, Starbucks said. A total of 2.1 million government employees received Taka's 700 crore Baishak allowance this year. Bank employees are receiving this allowance too. Economists and business persons feel this Baishak allowance helps boost sales during this festive season. However, here are no specific statistics on overall Baishak sales. Nazneen Ahmed, the senior research fellow at Bangladesh Institute of Development Studies, said Baishak is a festival that reduces the gap between the well-off and the poor. The traditional products for Baishak are mostly produced in villages. This is why Baishak is a blessing to the village economy, she said. The Asian Development Bank has predicted that Bangladesh will have a 6.9% growth of gross domestic product in the current fiscal year of 2016-17, which is lower than the government's projection of 7.2%. The ADB projection came at the Asian Development Outlook 2017, which was launched simultaneously at its Dhaka office, its headquarters, and other Asian countries. The regional lender forecasts that there will be a 6.9% GDP growth in 2017-18, which is slightly down from 7.1% growth registered in 2015-16 fiscal year. The GDP growth is expected to moderate to 6.9% in 2016-17 fiscal as domestic demand is rising in a slower way and the remittance inflow falling, the outlook said. North Korea has unveiled a new housing and business development in the capital, Pyongyang, which shows its economic resilience and strength. In recent years, the country's leader Kim Jong-un, who attended the event, has been experimenting with some economic reform, including allowing a limited number of small private shops to exist. John Southworth is in Pyongyang with an invited group of foreign journalists. His movement is being tightly monitored and controlled. Credit Suisse chief executive Tidjane Thiam and the bank's board of directors have offered to cut their own bonuses by 40% ahead of its annual meeting. They also propose to keep total board pay at the same level as 2015 and 2016. The move follows pressure from Swiss lawmakers and the bank's shareholders to address excessive executive pay. The Swiss bank has posted 2 straight years of losses, but its top 12 executives were awarded 78 million Swiss francs in pay this year. Trade was one of the dominant themes in Donald Trump's election campaign. He often focused on particular U.S. trade partners. Mexico and China were most frequently in his sights. And one of his first actions as president was to withdraw the U.S. from Trans-Pacific Partnership, a regional trade deal agreed by his predecessors but which had not come into force. He often focuses on trade imbalances, the U.S. deficit in trade with the rest of the world, and bilateral deficits too. Viewers, now Millennium Environment, Science and Technology News. Saturn's ice-crusted moon Enceladus may now be the single best place to go to look for life beyond Earth. The assessment comes on the heels of new observations at the 500-kilometer wide wall made by the Cassini probe. It has flown through and sampled the waters from a surface ocean that is being jetted into space. Cassini's chemistry analysis strongly suggests the Enceladus sleeper has not fluid vents, places that on Earth are known to teem with life. Airbnb is improving the security of its app and website after a BBC investigation found people's homes had been burgled by scammers using stolen accounts. The BBC spoke to 3 people who were robbed after they advertised their properties on the accommodation booking service. The scammers hijacked accounts with verified badges and changed some of personal details to pull off the thefts. Airbnb said it had already been working on the changes, which include sending text warnings if profiles are altered when the crimes were brought to its attention. Google's Doodle featured a parade of colorful banners in the shape of an owl, tiger, and the sun in celebration of Paila Boishakh, the first day of the Bangla year. The doodle shows Mangal Shobhajatra, the procession of well-being which bring out a Theka. During the march, colorful marks of tigers, owls and other creatures native to Bangladesh are hoisted above the celebration crowds, reports Time. Although each animal has its own symbolic meaning, collectively they are said to inspire courage and promote peace, according to Google. Viewers, now Millennium Sports News. After concluded a successful series in Sri Lanka, Bangladesh national cricket team will have little time to respite as they will take part in the Tri-National Series in Ireland next month. The Tri-Nation Series involved Bangladesh, New Zealand and host Ireland. After the series, the Tigers will take part in the ICC Champions Trophy to be held in England in June. All matches will be held in Dublin. The Tri-Nation fixture date: May 12 Bangladesh vs Ireland, May 14 Ireland vs New Zealand, May 17 Bangladesh vs New Zealand, May 19 Bangladesh vs Ireland, May 21 Ireland vs New Zealand, May 21 Ireland vs New Zealand and May 24 Bangladesh vs New Zealand. England limited overs captain Ewan Morgan has been unveiled as one of 8 marquee players for South Africa's new domestic 2020 competition to be played in November and December this year. Cricket South Africa announced that Morgan has signed up for the first 2 seasons of the tournament along with 2 South African-born past and present England internationals, Kevin Peterson and Jason Roy. A trio of leading West Indies limited overs players Chris Gayle, Dewan Bravo and Kieron Pollard will also feature, as well as ex-New Zealand batsman Brendan McCullum and Sri Lanka seamer Lasith Malinga. Cristiano Ronaldo rounded on his critics after becoming the first man to score 100 European goals after ending a 6-game Champions League goal drought with a double against Bayern Munich. Ronaldo scored twice as Real Madrid overturned a 1-0 halftime deficit to win 2-1 in the first leg of their Champions quarterfinal at the Allianz Arena to take a huge step towards a record 7th consecutive semi-final. The 4-time World Player of the Year took his tally to 98 goals in the Champions League, added to his double as Madrid won the UEFA Super Cup back in 2014. Coming from behind, Malaysia clinched the 8-nation Round 2 title of the 2017 Men Hockey World League, beating China by 5-3 goals in penalty shootout in the final at Maulana Bhashani National Hockey Stadium. The title deciding match between the two teams was locked in 2-2 goals in the stipulated period. Meanwhile, both the finalists Malaysia and China have already earned the right to play in the next round of the Hockey World League. Finance Minister A.M.A. Mohit distributed the trophies as the chief guest, while President of Bangladesh Hockey Federation and Chief of Bangladesh Air Force Air Marshal Abu Izwar was present as a special guest. Before ending, the headlines are once again. Mother of all bombs killed 36 militants in Afghanistan. Trump says NATO no longer obsolete. China not a currency manipulator. Donald Trump. First Muslim female US judge found dead in Hudson River. Germany probes Islamists after unbowed dormant play match. And Bangladesh is ready to face Tri-Nation Series. This is all for now from Millennium Daily Newsroom. To get any kind of news, please visit to our social website facebook.com/millenniumtvusa and youtube.com/millenniumtvusa. Besides, to get the most updated news, please log into our website www.millenniumtv.org, www.millenniumtvusa.com. Stay with Millennium. Allah Hafiz.